with 5 Star Wrestling Live in Sheffield as we go down to ringside.
The following is a singles match set for 1 fall. Introducing first,
well, this is a man I've never seen before.
making his way to the ring, he is the vegan warrior, Markus Burke.
The vegan warrior who comes out with no music and...
Very interesting indeed. I don't know if I've seen that before, Greg. I heard that he refused to have entrance music.
He refused?
Apparently he refused. He wanted to come out to absolute silence so he could tell the audience what he thinks of them. Now this is an interesting young man as Markus Burke, because I first heard about him on the Chael Sonnen podcast, one of the biggest MMA and pro wrestling podcasts where he introduced himself to the world.
Well, his opponent, we know that music, we know that roar. If you've been watching 5 Star Wrestling Live on FreeSports, this is a man who has very much been making his presence felt and growing in confidence and popularity.
Here's the English Lion, Eddie Ryan!
And this is the first time that Eddie Ryan has been back in Sheffield since the press conference, where he stood up for British wrestling, stood toe-to-toe and face-to-face with who is now the 5 Star champion, the All-American Jake Hager, and told him to show him some respect. Hager went for Ryan, a massive pull-apart brawl ensued at the press conference, and since then Hager and Ryan have been at each other's throats, Joe.
That is true, but Eddie Ryan's stock has risen ever since that day. Do you agree, Greg, that now there's a buzz about Eddie Ryan? His stock is growing each and every single day, and it seems like he's getting better every time that we see him. The confidence is growing, and he is becoming that star, and he believes that he can be the person to steer the ship that is 5 Star Wrestling. And look up right now, Majestic on the top turnbuckle, making his way into the ring to do battle with Markus Burke.
And Eddie Ryan has got to be feeling really proud right now, because we are just 1 week away from 5 Star Wrestling Live on FreeSports from the Plymouth Pavilions in Eddie Ryan's hometown. And if he can get past this violent vegan from Canada, Markus Burke, then Eddie's looking for a big moment in front of his friends and family down in the southwest. But we will wait and see if he can get past this unique individual trained by Emile Dupree, headbutting Eddie Ryan straight away there, Markus Burke. And Emile Dupree, the father of Rene Dupree, as many long-time followers of wrestling will know.
And this is one way to make a statement here in 5 Star Wrestling. You take one of the top stars and you just headbutt him straight in the face. Applying the pressure now. He's hunting him down. Now in the corner.
He calls himself the greatest unsigned Canadian wrestler alive today. Well, that remains to be seen. We'll see whether a Canadian can beat an English Lion. Because Eddie Ryan last week was victorious against the Darewolf, PJ Black. That was a huge victory for Ryan. Coming off the match he had with Jake Hager in Liverpool, where he was so close to upsetting his arch rival. And it looks like Ryan's looking for the win off the bat with a super kick, perhaps. No, Burke blocks it. Oh, and a huge right hand knocks Eddie Ryan as he knocked him out.
I mean, a strike like that can knock any man out regardless of size. And, you know, I guess Markus Burke's doing the right thing by getting right on him and continuing the damage, because, you know, Eddie Ryan's a great story, but Markus Burke can't take time to care about that. He's got a career, he's got bills to pay, and he wants to be the big star here in 5 Star Wrestling.
Markus Burke has not eaten meat since he was at primary school. He's been a vegetarian, then later a vegan, pretty much all his life. And he was telling me a story backstage earlier about when his stepdad, when he was 6 years old, tried to get him to eat meat and flung the hot meat and the oil, the burning oil at him when he refused. And that's the reason why he still has a scar to this day on his left pectoral muscle.
Well, that's perhaps a source of the rage that we're seeing right now as he tries to rake the eyes of the English Lion.
There's a lot of vegans in pro wrestling these days, you know, Joe. Zack Sabre Jr. is a vegan. Daniel Bryan was a vegan for a long time. Austin Aries, and Markus Burke.
Well, there's a lot of big names, a lot of big successes in professional wrestling that are vegan, proving that, you know, you don't need to eat meat to get the necessary protein that you need to be athletic and muscular. And I think that's evident right here with A, the performance, and B, the physique of Markus Burke.
Absolutely, the man is in shape, but so is Eddie Ryan. He's going to need to be, because the Canadian has taken over here in the early going in for the cover. Our referee from Italy, great to welcome him back to 5-Star Wrestling, Andrea Malalana, making the count, but it was only a 2.
And Markus Burke is very fundamentally sound. If you notice there when he went for the cover, it was the forearm straight across the face to apply just that little bit of extra pressure. It's just things like that that show a true veteran.
14 years a professional, the man from New Brunswick.
Eddie sucks!
And he really wanted to shine on this opportunity he's getting in front of the UK television audience, and that's exactly what he's doing. After a rather unusual entrance, he's warming to his task here in the cold of Sheffield. But look, Ryan nearly beats him though there. Out of nowhere, clothesline takes him back down.
And Markus Burke does not care about impressing the crowd. And that's one thing. This is an interesting matchup because we often criticise wrestlers when they look to the crowd for approval. But one of the unique things about Eddie Ryan is that it seems to benefit his performance. If you ever see him look to the crowd, it just gives him that little extra bit of strength. And that really powers him up, whereas Markus Burke just does not care. It's a different style, Greg. But Eddie Ryan's interesting because he does seem to feed off the energy of the crowd. And perhaps that's why tickets are absolutely flying for the Plymouth show, Greg.
It's going to be a great atmosphere next week in Plymouth. There are so many people from Eddie Ryan's hometown who want to go and see him because they like this guy who came from humble beginnings and he worked hard throughout his life. He worked in a supermarket for a time, did Eddie Ryan. And he went to Plymouth University to better himself, and then he moved to Swindon to find a training school to become a professional wrestler. And look at how hard he's worked on his body, on his skills. He's going to need to have everything in his favour if he's going to get past this unusual, violent vegan who's setting up. Double underhook, can't get Ryan up, backdrop. The English Lion starting to roar here in Sheffield.
And again, that's what I was talking about, Greg. Right now, he is feeding off the energy of the crowd to give him that little bit of recovery, to give him that extra bit of energy that he needs to really gain the momentum in this matchup. And listen to this crowd, Greg. Huge forearm there in the corner.
It's fairly noticeable everywhere we've been on 5-Star Wrestling. Though Eddie Ryan has first come out, the crowd might not be quite sure about him, but by the end of his match, they are firmly behind him. This likeable young man, this Plymouth Argyle football fan, and tremendous wrestler, trying to German suplex the Canadian. Misses the kick, Markus Burke. Bit of pump handle action. Oh!
An inverted pump handle slam there, Greg. Very impressive indeed. That's one way to use your opponent's momentum and offensive manoeuvres against them.
I was wondering if Jake Hager, when he alludes to defending the title against a British wrestler, if he meant Eddie Ryan. Maybe I should have known better, because Eddie Ryan... well, it wouldn't surprise me, though, if Jake Hager was to come out here after this grueling match that Eddie Ryan's had with Markus Burke and then defend the title against him, assuming that Ryan can get past the Canadian. It's looking good for him right now, though.
Well, Jake Hager's an opportunist, but he knows how good Eddie Ryan is. He knows how close Eddie Ryan was to beating him, that he's a credible threat to that championship at any moment. So I don't know, Greg, if he would put the title on the line against Eddie Ryan, even after a matchup.
Well, we'll find out. Jake Hager has vowed to defend that title against a British wrestler later on tonight. We'll find out who it is. Big forearm shot from Eddie. Markus Burke taken down with a German suplex. What a beautiful bridge from Ryan, and Burke kicks out at the last possible second. Impressed with both these men here live on FreeSports.
And Eddie Ryan is now just wondering what he has to do to put away Markus Burke. And as you say, that was a beautiful bridging German suplex. And what he was doing there, Greg, was he was bridging just to try and get that extra bit of leverage to pin his opponent's shoulders to the mat. And here's what we're talking about. He's getting that energy from the crowd, but will it cost him?
He's getting the Eddie chance here at the FLY DSA ARENA. Just imagine what they will be like next week in Plymouth. But Markus Burke takes him down with a back suplex. And is he going to spoil the party right now? Burke goes to the cover, and Ryan, this man will never give up. So impressed with Eddie Ryan week on week. But I'm also impressed with the Canadian.
Absolutely. Him with a very nice side toe suplex there. Now that is just a slight variation on the back suplex, because what it does is you can get your opponent down to the mat quicker and get them pinned quicker without giving them that extra leverage where they can escape.
Absolutely. Named after the great Japanese wrestler Masa Saito. He's got Burke's shoulders down, but Burke just about shot them off the canvas at the last possible second. He's trying to turn Ryan over, possibly here. Is he trying to double underhook him again? Eddie counters, but gets caught with a kick. This is a great chance for Burke to hook him again. Takes him up, takes him down with a Tiger Driver. 1, a Tiger Bomb. 2, 3. It's not 3, it's not a 3, it's not a 3. It's not a 3. I thought it was.
You know, that just speaks to how great an athlete Eddie Ryan is to kick out that, because just before that picture-perfect Tiger Bomb, he took a huge kick straight to the ear, which is surely going to knock his equilibrium in this matchup.
It's a great bout. It's building in intensity. And still, we're not quite sure who is going to emerge victorious. Both men in such tremendous condition. They've hit some hard impact moves in this bout. He was looking to try and get him up in a crucifix position there, Burke. Ryan caught him on the jaw with the kick. Picks him up. We've seen this before. Can he hook him? He needs to hook the head. He's got the head hooked. George Cross.
George Cross. And this has to be it, Greg. 2, 3.
And it is.
What fantastic performance.
2 wins on the bounce for the English Lion. And he roars into Plymouth next week, his hometown. The Plymouth Pavilions, where he used to go and watch wrestling as a child, with all the momentum. And I wonder if the 5-star champion, Jake Hager, has been watching that.
As you say, it was a difficult start for Eddie Ryan here in 5-star wrestling, but the last few weeks, as you say, he's been picking up momentum. And Greg, the tickets have been absolutely flying for the Plymouth show. As you say, it's going to be an incredible atmosphere, and Eddie Ryan is on top of the world right now.
He certainly is. And coming up on 5-star wrestling.